Hey guys, what's up? It's your boy Young Mel here, back at it again with another video. So it's currently windy, and I am going to record like the whole webinar.
Hi folks, we're going to go ahead and get started as more people roll in. So welcome to our presentation today. This is our student orientation webinar. So we've got a lot to get through. So I'm going to just start rolling right here. My name is Dave. I'm a student information specialist here at McMaster University, and we are going to have a guest speaker today as well, who I'll let introduce himself real quick.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me. My name is Ben Taylor. I'm an academic skills program coordinator here at McMaster, and I oversee writing support for students across the university, including undergraduate students, graduate students, and McMaster continuing education students. So I'll talk about the services a bit later, but essentially this involves some programs where we run workshops, we have one-on-one writing appointments, a lot of different ways for you to get support with your writing during your studies at McMaster. So thanks again for having me.
Cool. Yeah. Thanks, Ben. Ben's going to be jumping in towards the end to talk about writing services. And I'm going to be handling most of the webinar today, just giving you a general overview of the basic stuff that you need to know for being a student at McMaster Continuing Education. So let's jump right into it. We're going to do our land acknowledgement that McMaster University recognizes and acknowledges that it is located on the traditional territories of the Mississauga and Haudenosaunee nations and within the lands protected by the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Agreement. This is our agenda for today. So we're going to be giving you a little bit of context and sort of the benefits of continuing education and what it is. We're going to do an overview of our learning formats, talk a little bit about how to plan your studies, registration, budgeting your studies, McMaster University platforms that you use for engaging in your studies, a little bit of online learning tips and myth busting, and then we're going to be talking about some of our support services, of which Ben's area is one. So yeah. Let's jump right in. First, we're going to launch a poll, just asking folks where you all are joining us from today. So give me 1 sec here, and I will launch that. Okay. All right, so you folks should be able to answer this now. So if you'll just take a second and let us know where you're joining us from. We just like to, get a little demographic data, just kind of to see who's attending and, where from kind of thing. It's interesting for us, and it can be interesting for other participants as well. So most of you have participated, so I'm going to go ahead and end this poll in 3, 2, 1. Okay, and I'll share the results here, and you folks can see that most people are joining us from Ontario today. But we have a few people from other provinces as well. So regardless of where you're joining us from, thanks for being here today. I always take this. Oh, and we have one person outside Canada as well, which is awesome. So I always take this opportunity to point out that also continuing education is a separate division from the main university. We offer all of our own, proprietary courses, programs, etc. And we all of our stuff is online. Like anything you're taking in continuing education, it is 100% online, no exceptions to that. And that means that we are very accessible to people regardless of where you are, right? You truly do not have to be local. You don't have to be from Canada. You can take our courses from anywhere. So that's something that is good to know. I think we have no, we're going to do this page now. Okay, so just a little bit of context, a little bit of basic history. We've been around in some form since 1931. We're currently located our office is currently located in downtown Hamilton in the Jackson Square office building. We're one of Canada's largest and leading providers of online certificate, diploma, and professional development programs and courses. You can see some, a little review here that somebody was happy. We've been doing this for a long time, and we know what we're doing. One thing I'll mention, just a little bit ahead of talking about our learning formats here, is that a lot of people are kind of thinking, I'm not sure if learning formats are for me. A lot of people are kind of forced into doing online learning during the pandemic, right? And not everybody had the greatest experience with that, but we've been doing online, not 100% like we are now, but we have a lot of, a large percentage of our online courses were online for a long time before the pandemic. So we really had a lot of time to figure out how to do online learning right. By and large, our students are really satisfied with that. And as you can see, we have a long history of really just providing an alternative to what is offered at the main university, and historically it's just been very just kind of a lower barrier to entry than traditional university education, while at the same time providing high quality courses, many of which are sort of fully vetted and recognized by the undergraduate senate and so forth at the main university. Some of the benefits of doing continuing education is that you're getting relevant skills for today's job market. The courses are, typically quite flexible. They are online. Like I was talking about, sort of low barrier to entry. A lot of our courses, actually, we're going to talk about this in detail later, but most of our courses have open enrollment, so you don't have to apply for our courses. So it's really quite, quite accessible, and also, quite customizable, right? We're really meant to fit in with people's work-life balance. Most of our students work, raise families, etc., and are studying on the side, and that kind of student is exactly who we are set up to cater to. Unlike in the undergraduate degree programs where you may have to really make arrangements to be part-time or whatever, right? Okay. So let's do a little overview of our learning formats. This is a very important slide, and is something that I really want to make sure people understand. So like I was saying, all of any course you take with us is going to be online in one of these three ways. Now, the vast majority of our courses are actually in this middle one that is just plainly named online. And this one is a bit of a middle ground between the other two. So you could look at it as sort of a spectrum if you want to, of like sort of on the left, the most live one, or the most social one, I guess, like on the left, and then like the most independent one on the right. Okay. So virtual classroom, we'll just start here. Virtual classroom is what it sounds like. It's you attend classes at scheduled times, and they're virtual classes, right? And it's kind of like being in this webinar where you're sitting there and you have somebody talking to you. Typically, the instructors and the students are on camera as well, and you're just sort of in this participatory environment. Classes are scheduled at the same day and time each week. By the way, all the posted times and dates are in Eastern time. And then you're going to go off and do assignments on your own and meet due dates for that. Or possibly, group projects for some courses as well. Some courses include some group projects as well. And with online, the online format, this is like largely independent, but the main difference with this one is that there are not live classes that you go to, but you are doing your meeting deadlines, you're doing, regular things like, submitting assignments, participating in discussions, doing quizzes, things like that. There may be some instructors will say, hey, let's do a time, like a thing at a certain time, a meet and greet or something like that, but it's never going to be a required thing to do. It would always be optional. And the majority of the course content is going to be in that like asynchronous format where it's just like, hey, here's the due date for this quiz. Make sure you do it before then. Okay. You don't have to log in at a certain time for like anything that's graded in an online course. And again, most of our courses are in this format. So if you see a yellow label on a course that just says online, this is what that is referring to. And likewise, if they say virtual classroom or online self-study. So online self-study is very similar, except that it's more online self-study courses can last from anywhere between 2 months and like 5 months. And basically you can choose to move through them at the sort of at the minimum pace, which would make the course take the whole 5 months, or you can get through it in like just over 2 months to sort of, submit assignments early. Something to know about this is that it's not the kind of flexible where you can say, okay, the class is from, I don't know, September to January or something like that, and I'm gonna do all of my assignments in January, right? You can't do it that way. You do have to keep up with some deadlines as the course goes along, but you can. Those deadlines are going to be the most spaced out option, and then you can choose to do it faster than that if you want to. Again, no need to log on at specific times, etc. It is asynchronous. Okay. So those are our learning formats. So we're going to take a break here to just ask what motivated you to attend this webinar today. So 1 sec, I will launch this poll. And you can, if you want to go ahead and let us know, basically, are you just, looking to advance your career? Are you, were you here to ask a question? Are you just kind of explore, you're just kind of, no particular goal in mind, but maybe you're just like, oh, I'm just interested in potential education opportunities. I'm shopping around for different options. That sort of thing. And we have a few other options here as well. So I'll give folks another moment or so to answer that, and then we'll move. Okay. Still a few of you who haven't answered, so I'm gonna give you another 4, 3, 2, 1 to answer. Okay, we're gonna end the poll here. I'll share the results. You can just see, what people are here for. A really good, solid mix of reasons, which is great. This kind of information, kind of helps us as well, right? Get an idea to, sort of take the temperature of what people are here for. So thanks very much for sharing that. And really, regardless of what reason you're here, but we should have something for everybody here, regardless of how you categorized yourself there. So thanks again for that. Let's move on. So planning your studies. This is pretty, this is, you can certainly, look at our recommendations, but it's going to be different for everybody. And what I always say is to just use your sort of common sense for what you can handle and your experience of, your life experiences, knowing what's going to be appropriate for you, right? The main thing to know is that most of our courses require, we estimate 6 to 8 hours of work per week on average. Some of them are definitely a little higher than that, maybe 8 to 10, plus hours a week on average, for some programs that are a little more intensive. And we kind of, the program descriptions and stuff kind of, talk about them, in that way. So you can get an idea of that. And if you're not sure, if you're, feeling unsure about that at all, of course, reach out to us for details on that. But yeah, that's generally what you should expect. Each course that you're taking with us is a decent commitment. Now, there are some that are not like this, right? And of course, obviously, with something like online self-study, for example, like that, there could be more variability to that and flexibility to it, right? Especially if you are deciding to kind of, work through the program at a faster pace. Yeah. That's generally the case for our standard like academic programs and courses, which is most of our offerings. But yeah, it's a good idea to read the information that's on our website carefully, as well as review course outlines, which you can find a page with all the course outlines or links to the course outline archive on it that you can access and download the course outlines and get more detailed idea that way. And and then just of course consider your own schedule, lifestyle, etc. Okay, so we're going to talk about one of our biggest questions that we get, which is how to register. Because a lot of people, understandably, most people think, especially if you have any sort of experience with university before, that like it's kind of a process to enroll in university normally, right? You have to apply, you have to be accepted. There's forms to fill out. It's blah blah blah, right? For us, it is almost always very simple. Most of our programs, as I may have mentioned, have open enrollment. So as well as that being online, they also have no application process. Like the vast majority of what we only have 3 programs out of like a few dozen at continuing education that are that have an application at this time. So the baseline sort of criteria for every other course is that we expect people to have a high school education. Honestly, it doesn't even have to be from Ontario, but a high school education. You need to be, and in lieu of having a high school education, you could be a mature student. So this actually should say, or a mature student, sort of in lieu of having a high school education. And even then we would look at making exceptions if you contact us about that. But frankly, when you enroll in courses, we don't ask for this information at all. So all you really have to worry about is like the only thing I would really say that does come up as an issue occasionally is that just make sure that you have strong English skills, right? Our courses are taught at a university level, assuming a high level of English proficiency. There is a English proficiency page on the main McMaster website that's linked to from our website, where you can go and see the what the test scores are that are sort of recommended for the baseline English proficiency. So we sort of refer to that and say, if you have any doubts or concerns, just look at that and make sure that your language skills are going to be sufficient to succeed, right? But again, this is really up to you in the vast majority of cases to determine that our courses are a good fit for you, just sort of based on these basic criteria. And the only exception to that is, like I mentioned, we have 3 application programs where if you are not a native English speaker, you'll be asked to sort of provide a test score unless you meet the criteria for an exception, which you can read up on that web page that I mentioned. Okay, so moving on from that. And I believe we may, if I have time later in the presentation, I may go into a little bit more detail in showing you how that actually, like how the registration process works. Actually, hang on a second. Just looking at, I think we're okay for time. I'm actually just going to do that now because we're talking about it right now. So just to go over it real quickly, how to enroll in courses. I'm gonna choose something at random. Let's say you're taking applied clinical research. So in order to join this program, you're going to click on applied clinical research. This is an overview page, which has a bunch of important information that we're not going to go through it right now, but if you're joining this program, you should definitely read this stuff. It talks about like the professional organizations that this program is recognized by and so on. There's a bunch of really important information there, but going over to, just enrolling in courses when you've done your research and you're ready to, this is the one you want to take. For this program in particular, you do need to do the courses basically in numerical order, other than the second one. So if you're just starting the program, you would click on ACR 101 first, and you come to this course page, and you can see here's basic information about it, right? course description there, and then you know down here you have your day range and your price, right? And when you open that up, it's going to show you even a little bit more. By the way, you'll see that this has this online label, which means that it's that middle asynchronous learning format that we talked about earlier. And then you just add to my cart, and that's all you have to do. You add it to your cart, and then once you've done that, you click on your cart and you proceed to check out once you've got your selection that you're happy with. And it's going to run you through a process. We're not going to go through the whole process today, but basically, you know, that's just if you're new, it has you create an account, and you just follow the instructions on the screen, and then you eventually complete your process, and you get some email. You complete your purchase, right? And then it's going to send you some emails, set up your account, and so on. Okay. So let's jump over then to, because one of the biggest questions we get, and there were at least 3 of you who in the poll said that you wanted to explore financial options. So let's talk about that quickly right now. So first thing I'm going to say is that a lot of people ask us about, can I get OSAP for this? Obviously, understandably. Well, just because of some differences in the way continuing education gets public funding versus the way the main university gets public funding, our courses are not eligible for OSAP. At least the vast majority of them are not. And none of our academic courses are. And when I say academic courses, by the way, they are equivalent to undergraduate courses. So it's not a case of their, the courses, quality or anything like that. It has nothing to do with that. It's for a more bureaucratic reason. But in any case, they're not eligible for OSAP, but they are eligible for this thing called the McMaster Association of Part-Time Students Bursary and McMaster Continuing Education Award, which, despite being a bit of a mouthful, is a very good option if you're looking for funding. It has kind of like similar-ish criteria to OSAP. I'm not saying it's identical by any means, but just that, they look at your financial eligibility and stuff along the same lines. But unlike OSAP, you don't have to pay it back if you can get it. So I will show you the website for this. I'll show you that after, once we go through these other ones. But yeah, basically, we have a website on our page. I'll show you that lists all these other ones as well. So yeah, there's these government programs that you can possibly get into depending on your recent work history. You might be eligible for Better Jobs Ontario. Canada Ontario Job Grant is a thing that your employer can apply to train their employees and get government funding for that. So things like that. Windmill microlending, that's targeted at skilled immigrants and refugees. So if that's your situation, definitely look into that one. Some employers provide tuition assistance programs of their own. And then there's, traditional options. You can use our RESPs for our courses, for example. Or, lines of credit and like other options, right? So let's take a look at the website for that real quickly. So this is financial support and assistance. This is the page on our site, and you can see, like I said, this links out to these pages for these other programs that I was talking about. To find this, you go to Help Center. And you can find a link to it if you search for, I believe it's under funding, maybe what funding options are available. Yeah. So, so this one actually links directly to those options as well. But if you take a look around, you'll see that this page that we looked at, this last page with the funding that we looked at is linked to on a bunch of places on our site. So you will definitely run across it, or you can search for it as well. Okay. So, all right, let's go back to the presentation, and we're going to talk about Mosaic real quick. Okay. So Mosaic is the student and staff admin platform for McMaster University. So staff, we use Mosaic as well for HR related things and stuff like that, and overseeing student accounts and whatever. But students, have access to this as well. And this is where you log in and you can see. Now, this is not where you do courses, to be clear. Sometimes, people kind of go, okay, I got it. This is where I log in. They just think that's what I'm going to say. But no, this is not where you log in to do courses, but it is where you would log in to do admin stuff. Like, for example, you have to log in here to apply to graduate. If you're doing certain financial things, like maybe you've paid in advance for courses, you need to check your account balance. You would check that here. You can get certain documentation from Mosaic, like say if you need a letter or some kind of informal transcript that sort of says, oh, you completed this course or requirements for a program, etc. These are the kinds of documents you can get from Mosaic and other stuff like that. So that's what this platform is for. You can get to it using that URL there. And the login for this is when you register for courses, it's going to create a McMaster email account for you. And so let's say your name is John Smith and your McMaster email is jsmith@mcmaster.ca. You would just take off the @mcmaster.ca and use that as your login for Mosaic. That J Smith, for example, would be called your Mac ID. So if that's your Mac ID, you put that in, and then along the process, you're going to create a password as well, and you would use that password to log in. So that's how you get into Mosaic, and that's what that is for. Now, next, talking about Avenue to Learn. To log in. So this is the platform where the learning happens. This is where your course content is. Now, important note, course content does not appear here until your course start date, or rather just before, the day before your course start date. So we do fairly often get people emailing us in a bit of a panic saying, oh my gosh, I paid for this course and it's not there. And it's like, don't worry, it's not supposed to be there until the course start date. So just keep that in mind. Now, if you're starting to drift with your attention in this longer presentation, please pay attention at this part, because this is very important. To log into this part, to this platform, what you do is you use that McMaster email, you use the full email. So you don't take off @mcmaster.ca. If your email is, again, an example, jsmith@mcmaster.ca, you put in the whole Mac ID, jsmith@mcmaster.ca, and the same password, okay? And then once you get into Avenue, you'll be able to explore around in there. You can poke around a little bit and see how it's laid out. It's pretty intuitive to understand. I rarely get people reaching out to us saying that they can't find something or they don't understand how it's laid out. It really is fairly intuitive to use. And you will see your course content in there, and that's where you do everything. That's where all the stuff happens. That's where you will find instructor contact information and all your due dates, and you submit your assignments there, and so on and so on. Okay, that's what Avenue to Learn, sometimes called A2L or Avenue, is for. All right, so let's take a little break. And do another poll, and we're just asking about what your primary goals are, especially now that you kind of have a little bit of context, understanding what's going on here. We're just interested to see how you answer this, so go ahead and let us know, and I'll give you a moment to do that. Okay. Most of you have answered. I'll give you another couple of seconds. All right. 3, 2, 1, and forever hold your peace. Okay, so we'll share the results here. So most of you are looking to start a new career path, and a bunch of you are looking to upskill in your current field, as well as possibly a big chunk of you also are around for personal interest and growth. So that's great. And like I said for the other ones, any of these reasons that you're here for is a good reason. But it's always, interesting for us, and maybe interesting for you guys too, to, see what other people are thinking. And you can see that, really regardless of why you're here, you're probably in good company, right? You've got a bunch of other people in the same boat as well. So thanks for sharing that. And we're just going to move on now to a few online tips, and we'll do some myth busting as well. So basically, the general advice that we would give, and I think I've definitely mentioned some of this already, but it's a good idea. I will specifically say, as we're talking about avenues to learn, I talked about how your course doesn't appear there until the start date, or just before the start date. It is a good idea to log into, let's say you have you registered for a course, and some of our courses are open months in advance, but we definitely recommend registering, by the way, as early as you can, just to help save your spot, and also to help us gauge the numbers for that course, the level of interest. Do we need to open another section of that course, etc., right? But yeah, the technical reason why you should log into Avenue to Learn ahead of time, if you can't, ahead of your course starting, is just because if you're a new student, Avenue to Learn actually takes a day or more to sort of process a new student. So and for all the program, all the sort of platforms like Mosaic and Avenue and others to talk to each other and to sort of get synced up. So when you log into Avenue, you will trigger this happening. So if sometimes brand new students will register on the day that the course is starting and then be like, oh shoot, I can't actually start until the next day or something like that, right? So that's just something to be aware of. So we definitely recommend that, obviously it's a good idea to review course outlines and any scheduling information that's available ahead of time. And certainly once the course starts, there's going to be detailed schedule info, like due dates and stuff like that. Plan your time management approach, like how are you going to manage your time, and sort of tied into that, setting up a dedicated study space. At Continuing Education, we are working remotely at the moment, and I can definitely personally vouch for this one. And sometimes that can be difficult. Obviously, not easy necessarily to set up a dedicated study space in your home. But if you possibly can, it's very helpful. It's very worth it to sort of have that place you can kind of get into the zone where you do your work, and you don't associate it with relaxing or whatever, right? And yeah, also just keeping in mind standard online etiquette and best practices, especially if you're participating in Zoom courses, and just sort of keeping in mind to keep yourself on mute when you're not talking, and things like that, right? That's the kind of stuff we're referring to there. So those are our standard advice. And we do want to quickly address some common myths or misunderstandings about online learning. So one thing that people often think is that they're not going to have any support online. Well, that's not true. Every course is instructor-led, regardless of its format. They all have instructors, and some people, by the way, I will mention, I've made reference to the fact that courses do have capacities, and sometimes people say to us, oh, well, it's an online course, so it's not like there's limited seating or something, so why are there limits on the course? Well, the reason for that is because the instructors are very involved, right? The instructors have to grade everything, and they have to allow enough time to give everybody support that is both timely and thorough, right? So that is something that we take very seriously, and is one of the instructor's main responsibilities is supporting you. So yeah, don't while something like online self-study is kind of designed to be more independent, so even in those courses, for sure, you can reach out to your instructor and say, hey, I need help with this. I need support. Can we talk? Can we have a Zoom call or whatever, right? Whatever it is they do. But it's definitely not the case that you're not going to have any support. That's a big part of the instructor's role. So another thing that people are concerned about is that the quality of online courses is not the same as in-person courses. Well, if you were here at the beginning, you'll know that I mentioned that we've actually been doing online courses for a long time, like, pre-pandemic. It's not just some, something that we pivoted to as Johnny come lately to the online space when the pandemic happened. No, we've been doing this for a long time. We take the quality of the courses very seriously. Our courses, many of our, and you can see the specific information about this on the program pages, but many of our courses are recognized by professional associations. They're recognized by McMaster University. Any course that you see that has a yellow tag on it saying 3.0 units, which is a lot of them, is worth equivalent credit to a standard undergraduate course at the main university. So they can be used as transfer credit into undergraduate programs. And some of our programs have won awards and recognitions on top of that as well. So it's definitely it's definitely not. There's no concern about quality. Now look, is online learning for absolutely everyone? No, of course not. It's not going to be for everyone, right? Some people are like, look, I need to do like an in-person thing. I need to I need to get out of the house to, go meet with people and stuff. And that's like a part of the appeal to me. And that's totally fine. No program is going to appeal to everyone. And if they say they do, they're not being honest with you. Right. But I would say that, the way we do online courses is not slapdash. It's not negligent. And a lot of people are very happy with the way that it fits into their life. Again, I would sort of say take a similar approach to this last one and saying that, look, is it on the same level as going to a classroom and being with people? No, maybe not. But it doesn't mean that you won't have the chance to network. It doesn't mean that you won't have the chance to socialize, make connections, make professional connections, right? You absolutely can do that. The courses many courses include discussions as a part of the evaluations. And it's been some time since I did it, but when I did online courses myself some years ago, I kept in touch with my peers. I made some connections, through online discussions and messaged people privately and said, hey, can we continue this discussion? It's really interesting. And we'll add each other on social media and become friends and, nerd out and talk about stuff. Right. So yeah, it's definitely, it really is what you make of it. That's the point I want to get across here. Okay. So let's just talk about newcomer information real quick, because I don't want to have Ben be too squished for time. So I'm going to try to get ahead here as quickly as I can. You can look at all these resources are posted on our website. So if you're interested in career development resources, these are here. And this isn't necessarily for newcomers. Some of this is just for everybody, right? Employment Ontario Service Centers, for example, right? And then here's some networking and job opportunities. McMaster has career fairs and things like that. You can network with your instructors and your peers. And there are these other interesting options that are kind of detailed. We're not going to go into detail about them, but you can look these up on our website. If you search these, you'll find some more information. Same with mental health resources. Okay. You can go through these and find, if something here applies to you, or you need some support. There are lots of great resources out there. So, and there's more information about all of these on our website as well. If you take a look at the support center on our website. Okay. So I'm gonna let Ben jump in and take it away for talking about writing services. Go ahead, Ben.
Awesome. Thank you, Dave. And thanks everyone for having me again. As I mentioned, I sort of oversee the writing support at McMaster across the university, and this includes writing services for McMaster continuing education students. And primarily this comes in the form of one-on-one appointments. So you can see here on the right-hand side of the slide, we have a link to oscarplusmcmaster.ca. This is the appointment booking platform you would use to book a one-on-one appointment with a writing advisor. And if you've never booked a one-on-one appointment for writing consult, essentially you meet with a writing advisor. All of our advisors are PhD students. So, high level of study, high quality of work and expertise. They're sort of trained in a kind of generalist approach to writing. So it doesn't matter what discipline you're in, what genre of writing. I was just answering an email from a student asking if they could bring a lab report in. Yes, you can bring a lab report in. You can bring a research report in, a business case study, any kind of writing they can help you with. And it's not really an editing service, so you wouldn't bring your, let's say, your essay or your paper in, and the writing advisor will just sit there and mark it up in red. They'll actually talk with you. They'll sort of walk you through using some kind of questions to get a sense of, what you're trying to communicate, what are you trying to articulate, what are you trying to express, and, how can we help you improve that? So a lot of times this has to do with structure. It has to do with the way you kind of organize your argument or your writing. It's obviously very individual, sort of a case-by-case basis. So they will work with you to figure out, what do you want to focus on? What's the best use of the time? The appointments, speaking of time, are 25 minutes or 50 minutes. We have quite a few open right now. It's the beginning of the term. It's a good time to go check out Oscar Plus and book in advance if you'd like. We've introduced a new appointment type, which is kind of like same day, we're calling it, appointments, where around 8:30 every morning, one of my student staff will release 2 or 3 new appointments. So this kind of helps with students who need some kind of quick help that same day, like they might have an assignment due later in the day, and they just realize, oh, I'd really like to talk to someone about this. So yeah, it's a really good way to get assistance with your writing. I'm trying to think of anything else I should mention. You can reach us at writing@mcmaster.ca. I check that email myself. And so, yeah, if you have questions, if you're unsure of how to book, if you're just not sure what happens in a writing appointment, and you want to make sure, the questions you have are appropriate, you can email me first, and I can address any concerns you have. But just to give you some examples, especially from the McMaster continuing education perspective, many of you might be coming back to do courses after maybe an extended break from anything academic or anything at the university. Citation styles change. I mean, I've been working and studying at universities for the past 12 years now, 14 years. And I've gone through so many different citation styles, right? So I'm having to keep up with these citation styles. So, if you've been away from the university for a while, or maybe you've never written an academic paper, that might be a challenge. So we do have a lot of continuing ed students that kind of just need a little bit of assistance with citation style, knowing when to cite, how to cite. We're happy to point you in the direction of additional resources as well. So our writing advisors have a lot of knowledge of, where are the best websites that they can point you to. So you can, refer to those as you're writing your papers. So yeah, things like citation, tone, maintaining a good formal academic tone when appropriate. Again, structure and organization, argumentation, incorporating evidence into your work kind of goes along with citation. All of these things, may be involved in the work you're doing during your courses with continuing ed, and we're here to help you. So, again, also, I should mention, this is at no additional charge to you. It's included in, tuition and fees, so you're not paying an additional fee for this. So I would encourage you to take advantage of it. So I'm happy to take any questions if there are any specifics. I'm looking at the Q&A, and I don't think there's anything writing related. But again, writing@mcmaster.ca. If you have any questions, I check that email myself. So hope to see some of you in a writing appointment. And I can turn it back over to you, Dave.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks, Ben. That was great. So yeah, really cool that we have that resource, available for everybody, and super helpful because writing is something a lot of people get a little in their own head about, right? And they're feeling like a little uncertain about it and whatnot. So wonderful to have the opportunity for especially to get a human connection with it, where you have people on hand ready to advise and give smart advice about that. So thanks again, Ben. And we'll just move on to into our just about our final slides here. So just some general advice about ways to get help. Your first port of call for most questions should be your instructor. So if you have an issue like you need an extension on something, you're not going to be available for a quiz, anything like that is strictly related to your course, you need you need to talk about some kind of exception, you need help, whatever, contact your instructor about that. Your instructor's emails or whatever preferred contact method is going to be on Avenue to Learn. That's going to be one of the first pieces of information that they tell you. Yeah, so definitely, make sure, keep that on hand in case, you can't log into Avenue for some reason, if you're having some kind of tech issue. But moving on to tech issues, there is the general university technology services, so UTS. That's our IT department. You reach out to them. You can't log into your account, you're having some other kind of technical issue. You can reach out to UTS. UTS on their website has a live chat that's up pretty much all the time. And when you first start using that, there's going to be a bot giving you sort of troubleshooting tips, and you can just keep on talking to the bot, and it's going to keep on giving you advice. And if it can't solve your problem, then you're going to get transferred to a live agent, or it's going to open a ticket for you. So that's just something to keep in mind. And there's also a specific Avenue to Learn support desk, and that is linked to from the UTS website, and you can get advice that is specific to Avenue to Learn issues. If you're having, if there's some kind of problem internally with Avenue to Learn or something like that. So that is what you should know there. And then you have me, the McMaster Continuing Education Information Specialist team. That's myself and my colleagues. If you go to our website, well, actually, it's that URL right there. I'll just show you because I'm already halfway there. But yeah, if you just any page that you're on our website, you'll find us, contact us on the sort of the top bar there, and you can fill out this form and hit contact us when you're done, and we will get back to you as soon as we are able. Almost always within a couple of business days. We also have live chats that go on through the week, typically 10 to 2 p.m. Eastern, but sometimes not because other things are going on, like this presentation, for example, right? So it's not always that, but on most Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, you can find us in live chat at those times, okay? Yeah, you can check out these other. These are pretty easy to find, right on our website. But there's a help center. There's FAQs. A lot of the questions that we get are just answered right in the could be answered by the FAQ if you look there. And there's a very helpful student journey page. Now everybody gets emailed this. If you registered for a course, you got emailed this link. This is called the student journey page, or sometimes it's called the getting started page. But if you go to this page, this has kind of got everything all in one place. Okay, here's all the stuff you need to know. Here's Avenue to Learn. Here's Mosaic. Here's what you need to do to activate your Mac ID, that kind of stuff. So just write this down or copy this down, take a screenshot, or look for this link in your email, and check out the information on that page if you are, if you run into any hitches while you're trying to register. Okay, so just about done here. We're going to launch this last poll. And this is where we're just wondering where you are right now in your enrollment journey. So is this your very first introduction to MCE, or maybe you've looked into a few courses, maybe you're maybe you're already enrolled, you're in the process, etc. So we'll give you folks just a moment to answer that. And just while you're doing that, I'll reiterate that we really appreciate you being in here today. I see that the chat has been pretty active, and so I'm going to try to devote the last little bit of time to answering any lingering questions, although I'm sure my colleague has probably covered just about everything. But I will take a look at that in a moment. Okay, I'm going to give you another 3, 2, 1 for this poll. Okay, ending poll now. And I will share the results. So you can see that it's kind of an interesting split here between you're either already enrolled or this is your very first introduction, and a few people somewhere in between. So that's cool. I mean, whatever stage you're at, I hope that you got something helpful out of this. If you're already enrolled, then probably a lot of stuff in the first part of the presentation was maybe sort of stuff you've already figured out, but maybe not. Hey, you never know. We certainly hope that this was helpful for you. And if there's anything that we haven't covered, this is now your chance to ask. So I'm gonna take a quick look at our chat and our Q&A and just look for anything that is possibly outstanding. One moment here. Okay, so yeah, some of these questions I think that are still open in our Q&A box are definitely been covered in the presentation. So this first one, but I can go back and sort of review. Can you speak to the courses that are self-directed, what they are, how to find them, timelines for completion? So any course that is in the online self-study format is going to say that. So why don't I find an example to show you? If we go take a look at, if we go take a look, I know accounting has them now, and again, there's not actually that many courses that are in either virtual classroom or online self-study, but accounting is a bit of a unique program that has that actually offers multiple of the most uncommon learning formats. So all of accounting's courses, if you're interested in that, are in online self-study and virtual classroom. So you can choose which format you want to take. And so to answer that person's question, like any course that is in that format, it's gonna say it right here. You can see online self-study, virtual classroom. So yeah, if you're wanting to take ACC 925 or any other accounting course for that matter, you have the choice of which one to sign up for. In case you're wondering about this, you can't sort of do like a little bit of both. You can do, like, if you wanted to take this course in, say, online self-study and you want to take another accounting course in virtual classroom, you can do that, no problem. But you can't sort of like merge both of these and kind of say, oh, I want to sort of sample both at the same time. Like you can't, you have to commit to one, right? You have a space, a seat in one of these options that you choose, and you go for it. Then this is the first course in the program, so maybe find, okay, what, online self-study, that wasn't for me. Let's do virtual classroom for the next ones. Okay. All right. So I answered that live. So okay. Who do we contact for more information about entering this process? Contact us. So the contact page that I brought up before, go there and ask whatever questions you have. Fill out this form, and if we can answer it, we will. If we need to direct it somewhere else, we will. Okay. Okay. I recently enrolled in continuing education course. Will you be covering how to use the various learning platforms and how to sign up, download, get ready for attend? Yes. Well, we did cover that, and so hopefully you stuck around for that. Person who asked that question, and if not, hopefully you found our contact form to ask that. So yeah, thank you. How do you request accommodations for a learning difference? Great question. So what you need to do for that is you need to reach out to, I don't actually have it bookmarked right now, but I think it's, let's see, it's going to be McMaster student, wait a second, assistance, wait a second. I think the acronym is SAS, maybe, yeah, student accessibility services. So person who asked that, just Google McMaster SAS or Student Accessibility Services. This is the website. You need to reach out to them, and I would recommend doing that as early in the process as possible, and reach out to them because they need to set things up like early in the process. So thank you for that question. That's a good one. Okay. And lastly, do continuing education students get a student card for student discounts? I'm taking 3 courses per term and am officially a full-time student. Got it. Okay. So the way that works is you can get a student card. Let's see here. I'm going to Google this one as well. McMaster student card. They call this the Mac card now, and there is a process for continuing education students. If you Google that, you find your way to this page. How do I get my Mac card, right? If you're interested in getting one, there's a section here that explains, let's see, pick up your card, continuing education students. So what you have to do, person who asked that question, create a help desk ticket, and they link to it there to have your account set up. Once you have received confirmation the account has been created and your photo has been approved, you can pick up your card. Please note that MAC cards will not be mailed. So if you are studying remotely, well, you're either out of luck if you're super far away, or you're just going to have to still come to campus and pick up your card. This is a McMaster University policy. It's not decided by us at Continuing Education. So that's just it is what it is. But that is the process for continuing education students. Again, to find this, I just Googled McMaster student card, and I clicked on the first link that came up, and then I clicked on find out how to get your card, and then get your card instructions, and then clicked on this tab. Continuing education students instructions are there, and I'll just leave that up and hold the screen still for a second so you can screenshot that or something if you need to, or take note of the URL. Okay. So it looks like there's no more questions at the moment, which is just as well because we are pretty much out of time. So I want to thank everybody again for joining us today. And if there's any question you think of afterwards or whatever, I showed you where to contact us. And again, I'll just show you that again. Anywhere on our website, contact us and fill out this form. We're very diligent about getting back to this. Just let us know. We'll help you out and or direct you where you need to go. So thanks very much. Somebody asked about how do I get a job. Look up, I would say just look up McMaster University job or McMaster Continuing Education jobs. If you Google that, I believe you should get the job postings page that is specific to continuing education and not the main university. I am customer service, and I do not know any rules about what's allowed in terms of location, etc. But that's something you can certainly look into. Sorry, Kim, I didn't see your question. Thanks for pointing it out. Can we have someone pick up our card for us? That I don't know the answer to, Kim, but I would recommend that you reach out to the registrar's office for that, because they are the ones who are in charge of that, and so I can't speak. That's a detail of their policy that I don't know. But if you reach out to the registrar's office, just Google McMaster University registrar, and you will find a chat there, contact information. Yeah, just ask them. I'm going to wrap up the session here, Lovell, but you can reach out to us on our contact form. So thanks everybody for dropping in, and we appreciate everybody, and reach out anytime if we can be of any more assistance. Okay, have a great rest of your day, everyone. Take care.
So guys, that was McMastery Continuing Education. I am still sick, but I will upload this, and I will kind of explain what I'm going to do in terms of making videos. Bye.